Hello from Baristakus Hamburg. Today we're not here to introduce a machine, but rather a conversion kit that lets you take a very simple machine, like this Gaggia here, for example, and turn it into a machine that allows you to create a pressure or flow profile. We've actually been following this project for quite some time and have always found it incredibly interesting. And maybe you've also heard the name GaggiMate somewhere. GaggiMate is the conversion kit, not just for this Gaggia machine, but for a wide variety of other machines as well. But first, just a quick word about us. If you're interested in anything related to espresso, machine tests, grinder tests, and so on, then we'd really appreciate it if you're not already a follower, if you'd leave a subscription and follow us in the future. Activate the bell and you'll always know when a new video is released, and now you can even hype our videos. This significantly increases the visibility for smaller channels like ours so that we can continue to make videos like this in the future. Thanks so much for that. But now, onto this project. You might have heard the name GaggiMate before. It sounds a bit confusing because you might get the impression that this conversion kit is mainly or even exclusively designed for Gaggia machines. And that's certainly how it started, but in reality this kit is suitable for almost any machine that has a vibration pump. So what can you do with this kit? You can take a very simple machine and turn it into one that lets you work based on weight, based on time, and most importantly allows you to create a pressure and flow profile. And we find that incredibly exciting. At recent trade shows we've seen more and more machines that aim to do exactly that and promise to deliver on it. But before you go out and buy a new machine, you can modify your simple Gaggia, your Profitec Go, or another machine to do exactly that. You can see how to modify your machine very easily on the CoffeeNova website. There, you'll already find several tutorials on how to install the system in your machines. More tutorials for a variety of other machines are set to be added over time, but CoffeeNova is also currently in the process of finding service centers in Germany where you can have your machine modified or perhaps even buy pre-modified machines. So just take a look if you're thinking about upgrading your Gaggia, your Rancilio, or another machine in this way. There are various kits you can buy, or you can buy the parts individually. For example, you don't have to buy the display. You can also control it via your iPad or an Android tablet. So there are different options, and a complete kit costs around 160 euros. And I think that's surprisingly affordable for everything this kit can do. Let's just take a look at what's currently possible with it. I say currently because we know that some features will be in the new software soon, which we find very interesting. You have two options for controlling your machine and influencing your profiles. On the one hand with a tablet, and on the other you can attach this display which already lets you do a few things. We have four functions here. First, you have the option for your coffee profiles. Furthermore, you have functions like, for example, steam, where you can already set and change the temperature. Then you have the option for hot water. Here too, you can already adjust the temperature. One function we find particularly interesting is the integration of your regular grinder. So you can turn a completely normal grinder into a grind-by-weight grinder. You have a control here via this bean icon, where you can enter how many grams you want to have ground. For that, you'll of course need, on the one hand, a Bluetooth-enabled scale, like this one here, for example. And you need a Wi-Fi-enabled smart plug from Tasmota. Once you have that, you can easily control your grinder through this system here. You enter how many grams you want in your dosing cup, and the software simply registers when that weight is reached and turns off the grinder. Unfortunately, we can't do that right now because we don't have such a smart plug, and we didn't know in advance that we would need one. But that doesn't matter. The function exists, and we find it super exciting. By the way, there's a very nice tray here for this small scale, which we think is great anyway, and maybe you've seen it with us before. Basically, we have two options for controlling the machine. One is via a timer function, meaning we specify how long our machine should extract. Or we have the option to control the machine by weight. Using this display, you can now, for example, select your profile. You have the option to select from various different profiles that you can program into the machine. We'll just leave it on a lever profile for now, and beforehand we can, for example, run a flush pull, which helps prepare the machine to clean our portafilter or, for instance, to warm up our cup. That's not yet possible via this display at the moment. It might be integrated soon. What will definitely come with the new software update is that you'll be able to set the temperature of your machine here via this display. And you can choose whether you want weight-based or time-based control. Currently, that's only possible via your tablet. Of course, you can edit the profile you've selected. Let's take a look at the profile we've chosen, which is the lever machine. You can already see the pressure curve that we've programmed. We can, of course, edit that, and it's done in different phases. Let's go to the last phase where we say, okay, we want a weight of maybe 40 grams in the cup. And just like that, we can save it. And it's that simple to adjust everything you want, meaning the pressure or the flow, the weight, the temperature, and so on and so forth. I'd say, let's just simply make an espresso right now using this particular profile here. And for that, of course, we need to weigh out 18 grams of beans. We've already done that. And we'll grind them with this grinder here. So let's maybe preheat our cup first. We'll flush the system once. I have no idea what grind size we have. This is the first attempt. Let's see what comes out of it. So, and now let's take a look. By the way, for those interested in this grinder, it's a brand new one that's coming to the market soon. And of course, we'll be reviewing it soon. But I won't reveal which one it is yet, because it's a future Kickstarter project. Yeah, great. So we have 38.7 grams in 30 seconds. That's actually too long for this coffee. But anyone who knows a bit about pressure and flow profiles knows that you can significantly influence the coffee with them. Let's give it a try. Amazing. That tastes surprisingly delicious. So what do we have? We have, one moment. I haven't had one today yet. It took us 30 seconds. What would we change? We would, of course, adjust our grind size a bit and see if we can get it a little under 30 seconds. And I'd say, let's just go again. So, 18 grams in. All right, and let's go again. So in this case, we have a pre-infusion, a slight increase. And after that, let's see what happens next. The ramp down, the drop is coming up. We're already 3 seconds faster, and now let's see how this one tastes. Significantly more acidity. Within those 3 seconds, already significantly more acidity. I find it totally fascinating what always happens there. Now, with that shot, we noticed that it didn't work out 100%. That means we have too little in the cup. I'll show you how it all works now. This time, we have to go into the settings, and there we'll find the user preferences. And under these user preferences, I can correct the whole thing a bit. until I finally get to my result. Currently, auto adjust is activated and will just enter 500 milliseconds here. And then the next extraction should be much more precise. And of course, we can keep correcting this until we get our perfect result. Why is that? Of course, you mustn't forget that every machine works differently and the system can't figure that out 100% on its own. That means when does the expansion valve open, for example, when does the pump stop, and so on. It's all a bit different, also depending on which pump you have and so on. And in that respect, I think it's super practical that you can readjust this for your machine. Yes, and that's how you can design your coffee. With a very simple machine, you can get exactly what you want out of your beans. We can simply try it again with another profile. Now we've prepared everything, and I'd say let's get started. We'll do a little flush beforehand to clean everything. But this time, I'd like a different profile. So I'll go to Profiles and look for a very simple 9-bar espresso profile. And when we have the scale connected, we can always choose between time and weight control. I'll take another look at the profile to see what we have here. We have a time of 28 seconds. We'll just reduce that to 25 seconds. There, and now we're ready to go. And now let's just see how many grams come out after 25 seconds, because I haven't adjusted the grind size of our grinder. I can already see the grind is way too coarse. Our cup is already overflowing, so maybe I should have used weight control after all. And that's where you can already see the difference in how your espresso reacts to the different profiles. Of course, I'm not going to drink this. This is just for demonstration purposes. We'd better pour this out and clean our scale just to be safe. You also have some other functions, for example, a shot history. There you can see exactly what the progression of your espresso shot was like. You can enter various other data. You can repeat it, you can save the profile, you can then modify the profile, and so on and so forth. So there are many, many ways to shape your coffee. And I find that very exciting. By the way, you can see here, as soon as the scale turns off, you no longer have the choice between time and weight control. As soon as it's on and connected to your machine, you can of course select that again. So that's it for now on this project. I find it super exciting because anyone who has tried pulling an espresso with a pressure and flow profile or with time and weight control knows how much fun it is. And above all, they know how much you can influence and change the taste of your espresso. But thankfully, you don't have to control your machine with the tablet all the time. You can run your profile as usual, for example, using your brew button here. Likewise, you don't necessarily have to have this display up here. You can also just have the tablet connected and use it to select your profiles. The exciting thing is that we can, for example, also change the temperature on a machine that normally doesn't have PID control. As I said, Jochen is constantly working on expanding and changing the software, integrating new scales, and responding to the wishes of the community, because that exists as well. There are various platforms where you can connect with other users of this GaggiMate system, and we find all of that just super exciting. We hope that with our video, we've been able to give you a small impression of everything you can do with this system and how simple it is. We find it really exciting that with this kit, you can turn a very simple machine into a truly fascinating one, giving you a huge amount of control over your espresso. I hope you enjoyed our video. Please just write in the comments. We'd be interested to know if you'd be interested in a system like this at all, whether you find it exciting or not, or if it's just far too complicated for you. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, we'd be thrilled if you did. Turn on the bell and you'll find out when a new video from us is released. And if you leave us a like, that helps us out enormously, just like subscribing does. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, we wish you a delicious coffee.